So hey guys, I was playing around today and had a few fun observations about the new neighborhood action plans and thought I'd share what I learned. So if you are playing a neighborhood, action plans will be passed whether you participate or not. These have a number of impacts and have a couple of sides each. There's a benefit to the player side, maybe gaining influence from doing something, and it changes how NPCs behave. Like, for instance, we have the support the performing arts policy active in this neighborhood. This means you can get influence playing an instrument, and entertainment careers earn more money. But NPCs also participate. Like, all of them. Every single NPC that visits will play guitar or violin. More so when there isn't anything else to do. It seems like Max is aware this can be annoying because they shortened the amount of time they play. But it just seems weird. And I mean, look. It's bear night. This is clearly a lively night. A bunch of bears all playing guitar. Over and over, all over the world, Sims play guitar. There are about 20 different action plans, so there's a bit more variety than, say, with the students in dorms for university, who also like to play a lot of instruments. My sim here is in week 4 or so, and all 4 nap slots in this neighborhood are taken up. Same for the others in Evergreen Harbor, but I noticed that if you're not playing an active household in the other worlds like Willow Creek, naps will not be voted on. They stay at 0 votes. If you load up and play during the voting session, you can get them to start voting from there on out. Must be while voting's open though. Now I have not gone easy on this pack at all, but I was just kind of observing things, enjoying the prettiness of the game, but kind of annoyed at all the guitars. I went to the community garden where I put an extra dumpster or 4 because I wanted to get multiple Sims doing it in there, but let's just say that didn't work out. The first day I visited here, things were fairly good and about as expected. Sims playing guitar and hugging bugs for suspicious lengths of time. It was a pretty unremarkable visit, just a simple community garden. Pretty, but plain in another way. I went to see if any naps had passed elsewhere and figured out what I told you earlier. When I came back to the garden though, no one was showing up and I wondered, what's up here? Why is no one hugging the lonely bugs and getting naughty in my dumpsters? Well, it turns out that this lot isn't a community garden anymore. You know, there's this checklist, right? And a lot has to fulfill the requirements to be a lot of that type. Well, this neighborhood has the sharing is caring neighborhood action plan, and someone took the sink, breaking the lot and breaking all NPC behaviors on this lot. So that's a thing now. So I replaced the sink and decided to add a few more sinks. You know, we need some padding. So what if some lone wolf comes along and jacks our sinks? We have a spare so that people will continue to use the garden as a garden. I put a few on the roof, but if a sim wanders up there, they'll eventually take them. I watched Clara Bjergsen dumpster dive to feed her poor family. This actually makes a lot of sense. Do you ever see NPCs buy something? They don't ever get a new fridge or a car, and it's obvious money's tight for them. This is all a facade. While I was scoping her ability to really get in there deep, I realized, oh my god, they already took all the sinks. So in order to keep this lot of community garden, I am going to have to add more sinks. I put like 14 sinks, and I figured that ought to do it. Now we can all have our buggy huggy guitar sessions for weeks to come. Right? Right? No, the Sims clean me out. They take nearly all of the sinks in the span of 3 sim hours. That's a lot of sinks. Maybe we just didn't add enough sinks. Never enough sinks. Always need more of it. A lot like cowbells. I put about 40 sinks and I wait. This time I'm going to get every one of these bastards on camera and we'll get Sims PD on top of this. Sims pour into the community garden and over the next 24 hours gradually take and loot my sink formation until it's a shadow of its former self. This was probably the best thing I've ever built and they wrecked it. Just look at them chew through those sinks. Oh my god, man. How am I supposed to have a community garden? When they're done destroying my hard work, I take the final sink from the roof to see if this was all some fluke. Maybe they won't take the last sink again. I think you guys know exactly what happened. I do realize how you can make a wonderful community garden that everyone can enjoy. The answer, my friends, is to put the sinks in the basement or something where no sim can touch them. Now you fill those checklist requirements and get past this silly design feature. It turns out you might get this even without the sharing is caring neighborhood action plan, and a modder has come in to balance that out. A site or modder named Simvasion has put out a mod that stops a pretty nasty bug. See, it turns out the game might not check what plans are even active. So Sims can end up with nearly every neighborhood action plan, leading to a lot of fighting, lovemaking, and sink theft. This mod makes sure the game has a look at which naps are enabled in the area before it gives Sims those traits and buffs that drive their behaviors. Given that very unladylike dive from Clara Bjergsen earlier, it's also worth noting that Zero Sims 4 Mods has made one that reduces the instance of NPCs rummaging in the garbage. Maxis, just because we have a new activity does not mean every single sim needs to do it. You'll also find a few other fixes in Zero's mod, like making the only Sims who can vote in the community board be residents. You know, things that make sense. I don't want to be mean to this pack, but I feel like I can't judge it for how it's meant to be due to these issues. You all who watch a lot know I kind of changed my mind after the bad first impression in the first trailer. And now I get it and just feel confused by all the issues coming up. I am sure, though, that they're taking a serious look given all the complaints that will at least fix some of these bugs. If you just cannot stand this snap thing, turn NPC voting off in the game options. This gives you control over which action plans pass. It's taking away the entire voting and convincing others vote mechanic, but it's a simple fix that might make your game a little less chaotic. For now. You can support me on Patreon or share this video if you like my work. Thanks for listening, everyone.